questions for this month's Q&A came from the members of our Patreon. Thanks to them, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/AJJ the band, which I'm going to put a thing up in the top right. But yeah. So the first one's from Masuda Alex, and it says, will albums like Rompilation and Only God Can Judge Me ever get vinyl release?
Only God Judge Me has been released on vinyl, but we need to add some other material now on Spotify version. I don't know about Rompilation. That's a tough question. We've been asking about that for a long time, and originally I think that we decided to because it had some really low quality like MP3 recordings, and we thought that would be just to put on a vinyl record, but I don't think I really care so much about that anymore. What do you think, Sean?
Oh yeah, I don't care about the audio quality. I think that title is terrible. Rompilation. It was supposed to be like a Mac Dre reference, but no one in our crowd will get a Mac Dre reference. So it just sounds like a dumb pun, but that's okay. I don't know. Yeah. Perhaps. I do think we should put out the Only God Can Judge Me and More Stuff collection on vinyl. I think that'd be really cool.
Eddie Sire asks, will there be a timeline where Spotify has the AJJ version of Quicksand? Which I will say, most likely not. Because the people who recorded that at The Onion are not there anymore. And I've asked and tried to get stuff of that.
Yeah.
And no. And there's probably some weird licensing that we signed away by like just agreeing to do it or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have any digital files of it, so probably not.
If anyone has it, they should put it on places on the internet where it can't be taken down, because I looked for that at some point and where to be found. At least I can't find it.
Oriana Capusta asks, who is your favorite female musician? For all of you.
Oh, yeah. That's a good question.
Kate Bush.
I knew it.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Big surprise to all of you for that.
You guys probably know mine too, actually. I just realized you probably knew before.
Oh yeah, Kim Deal.
There we go. Yeah, probably. Kim Deal rocks.
Yeah. Who can guess mine?
Let's see. You've talked about Gillian Welsh a lot. Emmia Dawson, you've listed a lot. Shit. Those are my two guesses.
Well, you are right. Those are two of my faves.
Cool.
I think if I had to pick a favorite woman musician, it would probably be Kimmy Dawson.
Good one. Kimmy rocks.
So who can guess Owens?
Oh, I have no idea. Owen listens to a lot of music, a lot of it that I'm unaware of. So.
Regina Spektor.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what she sounds like.
She's good.
She's really good, yeah.
Oh, right on. I just remember when we met. She's married to Kimya's old bandmate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack.
A moldy peach.
Once a moldy peach. Always continuing to mold. Man, I don't know. It's weird. I think bands that are fronted by, like, I don't know. I would say recently, like Portishead, Beth from Portishead has probably been like really, really doing it for me as far as like enjoying a lot of. I don't know if that counts as like, she's not like a solo artist. So yeah, to be like technical, I don't know.
Her stage presence is so cool. It's so sad.
Whenever there was like some MTV thing, maybe it was just the Portishead live album they did, but it's like anytime there's a close up on her mouth when she's singing, it's like just looks like the most intense vocal delivery. It's really, really cool. She's like so controlled, and yeah, she does something that like she has magic powers that nobody else has. It's pretty moving. But yeah, man, like Kim Deal, Kate Bush, very, very, very good. Mark,
My turn.
Ugh.
Lately I've been really into Juliana Barwick's stuff. Like she does a bunch of like vocal ambient sort of things. So yeah, as far as recent listening, I would say top.
Cool.
Cool.
I saw her play with your that harpist.
Yeah, Mary Lattimore.
Yeah, that was a good show. They did a collaborative thing at the end. It was sick.
Yeah, that would be. They were supposed to play Phoenix on that tour like 2 days later, but their car caught on fire or something.
Shit.
So, and then they never came back. But yeah. Cool. So, speaking of cars catching on fire, the next question comes from Daniel Honorado. Do you have any advice for setting up your first DIY tour?
Oh man,
Yeah, don't do it right now. Don't go on tour. No.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nobody
that's-
else is doing it.
Hey,
true.
Somebody's like, you can clean up, you know?
you got to log into MySpace. You got to go to somebody's top 8. Find a band you like in there that you like the best from that area.
Yeah, in a pre-COVID world, that's it. Yeah, like find a community, and offer to try to set up shows for people in your town so that they can set up shows for you when you go to their town.
Absolutely. Yeah. The show trade is the trick.
Yeah, and if you set up a show for them and then they don't reciprocate, fuck them.
Sometimes I've been pointed in the direction of like when setting up a show in that way, somebody will say specifically, I'm not like I can't show trade, but I'll steer you towards some people who can help you, and that's worked out well for me. Like I'm just speaking for myself here and booking my own DIY stuff, but
that's cool when it's up front like that.
Totally, yeah. That reducing the expectation is helpful, but I've gotten some good shows by even if that person that you show trade with isn't gonna play on your show or whatever, they might know a community that's gonna help you out equally as well.
Yeah, I would second just especially the expectation element of that too. Having really low expectations for your first tour, maybe just expecting it to be a road trip, you know, and if you get to play a show, that's bonus. If people show up, then that's like super duper bonus. But just like having an expectation, because like, yeah, the first couple tours we did, shows would mostly not happen. What's up, Sean? I saw you making some move with your hand.
I was saying, keep your expectations very low.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. People are gonna, people might not pull through. So just get ready for that.
Oh.
But you'll have fun. If you have low expectations, then you'll, when you have a show and some people show up and you have a fun time, then it's gonna be really great.
But one thing that just, I guess the question's setting up and not going on. I was gonna say, try to have fun, but also don't treat it like you're on vacation. Like, don't just like get shit hammered drunk every night because that's what rock stars do or whatever. Like, cause that's gonna make anything way harder to do. And if you're like, if anybody gets, stressed out about something, you don't want to also be hungover and stressed out. And yeah, like seeing people go too hard on their first time sometimes.
Also, making sure everybody is on the same page in terms of the band. If it's a group going on tour, everybody should kind of have a clear understanding of what their role is, and as far as having, if you have low expectations, make sure everybody else has low expectations, or you could be in for some shit otherwise.
True.
Right. Cool. This next question comes from Carol. They ask, I was wondering what your guys' take on the modern music industry is. Where's the money? How has it changed since you started? Etc.
That's a great question.
If anybody could tell us where the money is, that would be very, very helpful.
It's a Jerry Maguire moment.
No, I know where the money is. It's in that fucking the Spotify CEO's bank account.
Yeah.
Well, he's sharing it with Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, the Spotify CEO, the president of music.
Yeah, Mr. Music.
Yeah. The time is over when you can make albums.
Welcome to singles and playlist placements. And no, it's I think, I don't know. It's such a weird question right now specifically too, because who the fuck knows? Because like the answer before that was like, yeah, nobody buys music, streaming doesn't pay, but you know, concerts and stuff like that are good. And now we're out on a Zoom call talking to our like the people that our friends, our bandmates that we haven't seen in 6 months.
Yeah.
So
in all honesty, the money in the music business is in the hands of the listeners, and it's up to them if they want to share it with the bands that they like.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like buying music is where it's gonna, like, I've seen a lot of people talking about that, like they're making a bigger effort to even digital, like buying MP3s and stuff, which is great. Like Bandcamp is awesome. It's, like their cut is, you know, nothing compared to Spotify, and then you own it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a transitory time for sure. The follow-up of how has it changed since you guys started, like, you know, aside from global catastrophe causing some very fast changes, like I feel like it's like we were all working on stuff in like when we all experienced the first crash of the music industry, and then we all, like, as listeners, and now we're all experiencing the transition to streaming in a post-crash way, which is weird because, you know, like we all came up with like rampant piracy as the main like way to acquire music. So you would think with streaming it would be better, but it turns out that just people, like, instead of no one getting paid now, just a few companies are getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely been a change. There's money flowing, and there's all these feel-good articles about like, oh yeah, you know, vinyl's back and stuff, but it's just like, I don't know. It's all going to Spotify and Apple and Lady Gaga.
I mean, I would be lying if I said that I wasn't like reaping some benefit of streaming. Like, I'm definitely able to use money from specifically streaming, not Bandcamp. I don't see any money from Bandcamp really. But streaming, that's the money that puts food in my kid's mouth and allows me to have this closet that you see right here.
Oh, you have a walk-in closet, you say?
So I think some of it's like I don't know. I'm not like a rich CEO. I'm not a Lady Gaga, if you will, and I am able to benefit from streaming. So I would. That's not to defend. I'm not going to sit here and defend a CEO that tells musicians how they should make music and what they should do in order to like up their stats or whatever, because that's not. I'm not in the business of defending CEOs, but
that's more of a hobby.
I wanted to throw that in there because I don't think it's more of a hobby, exactly.
Yeah, For those of you watching that aren't familiar with Owen's work, Owen has a really excellent music project called Roar that is how do you say TikTok famous? And now you get like a fuck ton of streams from various teenage dance challenges, and I mean not just from the dance challenges, but your songs are really catchy and good. But it's been really cool to see you gain success from Roar, from all of these like different kind of streaming avenues.
Yeah, I'm super grateful. It's been really nice.
Yeah, and I came out swinging with like streaming doesn't pay and blah blah blah, but like in theory it's such a cool thing. Like everything's available to everybody. Like it's awesome, and like I'm a big proponent of piracy too. So like it just feels worse when somebody else is getting paid, because it's like shit. I wouldn't listen to any of the music I listen to if I didn't pirate it, like in 2004 or whatever.
Oh man!
And then that turned into going to shows and buying merch and supporting the bands that I illegally downloaded their music. So like Spotify and Apple Music having like that sort of access is great, but the fact that it's masquerading as like a support for artists, I think it's weird. It's weird.
I used to spend so much money on CDs. And now I still spend money on CDs and records, but like the bulk of what I listen to is like the Spotify membership is kind of the price of like one compact disc per month, when I used to spend much more than that some months.
Yeah,
if I wanted to listen
used to be like a brand new. I mean, I remember a time when a brand new CD was $17.99, right? Do you guys remember a time?
I remember a time.
Now, CD prices have plummeted as well. It's not just that people have changed the way that they're listening, but like also the price of each. Because now like there's competition to the CD. So yeah, as a listener, Spotify is incredible, especially as a listener that came up in a time where you had to buy a CD if you even wanted to see what the band sounded like or what the album sounded like. You had to just like lay down the money to even get a glimpse. And now you can listen to all the great music and try new things, and very little investment. You're not really like you used to like really try to like something when you'd spend a bunch of money on a CD, and now you can just listen to it, and if you don't like the first 30 seconds, you can move on to the next thing.
Yeah, that's a really huge difference. I think the idea of being able to, I remember at least in the days of buying CDs, I can remember, it's gonna sound dumb, very specifically buying an Offspring CD. I believe
sounds
it
cool
was
so far.
Yeah.
Which one? Ixnay?
Ignition. This is
early one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
so you bought this before Smash came out. Sorry, just to clarify.
Let's get the timeline correct. Yeah, absolutely. It was. I bought it because I think this was maybe right as Smash was coming out, and I was like, "This band's great," blah 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 blah, because it was on the radio or something. And then it might have been the only one that they had at the store, and I was like, "Okay," and it was $17.99 or something like that. And then I remember listening to it, being like, "What the fuck? This is awful," and really disappointed, and then just like feeling ripped off. That there was no way for me to know that I would think it was shitty before handing over my money. And when you're young, trying to like spend your money judiciously or not or whatever, $17.99 is a lot of money. And like when they finally at like I can remember like there was a place in New Jersey called The Wall that finally started doing this thing where you could pick any CD and they'd open it for you and you could listen to it before you bought it. And that was like that alone, like being able to listen to something, even just preview it before you buy it, it's just like, I don't know. I think that's really, really important. Forcing people to just like, pay money for shit you may or may not like it does not seem fair to me at all.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So the next question. The Psychedelic Toad asks, what was the album you have the most fond memories of writing and recording?
I really enjoyed the process of working on Christmas Island. And I feel a great nostalgia for it. We were like, 5 of us together in a room working on stuff kind of pretty diligently and regularly for like a month. And then we recorded. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that one too. I like Knife Man a lot. That one was like a little bit more protracted. So we started tracking 1 month, and then like about once a week we'd go in, or maybe we'd do a couple days. Yeah, we just kind of like worked on it over the course of a couple months, invited a lot of friends in. I think that was, no, it was the second recording that Preston played on. Owen was involved in that one. Also Mark, that was the first recording that Mark played on, American Tune on that record. So yeah, doing that with Jalapaz, just being able to go spend time in the studio with Jalapaz, get some tracks down, bring that stuff, the rough mixes, listen to them, develop it, just kind of like build the material over the matter of a couple months. I thought that was really nice and comfortable and fun to be able to have time to schedule with other folks to get them involved and have them come in and record on it as well.
I remember picking Preston up to go play on that record, and I had my dog at the time, Sassy, with us, and she was like very distrustful of Preston, as she was with everybody. But then on the way there, I blew a tire, and she like jumped from the back seat like into Preston's arms, and he like saved her. And she was just then she made a friend.
Was Sassy at the recording studio during that?
Yeah, she hung out for like a day or two. Old dog.
My favorite was Can't Maintain, because I didn't do anything, and then I was there on the last day, and we went to Toby Keith's I Love This Bar and Grill.
Yeah,
That's
we
sick.
sure did.
I thought my stomach was going to explode. I was so full of fried bologna.
Deep fried, was there a deep fried Twinkie that we had for the dessert? I believe?
Yeah, that
and
sounds right.
I think we shared it. I don't think we each had one, but yeah. Good times.
That was sick. I missed that bar and grill.
I loved that bar and grill. Cool. All right. Oh, speaking, that's a pretty good transition right there. Segues are always better when you point out how good they are. Amar Khalid asks, what's been your favorite food places you visited while touring?
Ooh.
So many.
Well, that I don't, and also don't know how to say it. Is Verdemart?
Verdemart?
Or was my favorite place.
That's a
Remember Matt
really good
Dobbins?
place.
Matt Dobbins got like
2.
He got one. He got a second one. So he just had like 2 enormous sandwiches, and like obviously like way too much food for
With, like,
any human being to eat.
With like shrimp on them or something?
Oh, different kinds of seafood, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, and it just like, yeah, it just was room temperature for like over 24 hours, and
Yeah, a long
unfortunately,
time.
he was real sad about having to throw that one away. But I think he even asked. He's like, "What do you think, guys? Should I eat this?" Like, God no, please don't. You're gonna be sick for the rest of the tour. But yeah, that place is great.
Man, I forgot about that place.
Verdemart, it's a sandwich place in New Orleans, Louisiana, inside of a really small bodega, and it's spelled Verdi Marty, kind of like old time-ish.
So good.
Yeah, I really like the Busy Bee
it's
in San Pedro. Oh, what were you saying, Preston?
Catty corner to Madame Lalaurie torture mansion.
Yeah.
The Verdemart is. Oh,
Did you say Nicolas Cage owned it before too?
By the, he did own it for a minute.
Of course he did.
I think he had to sell it. Probably when he of his T-Rex skull. It's not. This is also a sandwich place, which isn't necessarily my favorite food, but I love stopping at Granzella's in Williams, California, when we're making the drive up and down the West Coast.
Yeah, I love that place. And then there was the last time we went there, I noticed that they had the Jefferson State. Like they had a lot of. There's like a part of California that would like to secede from the rest of California. It's like they had some stuff that was like promoting that, and that kind of bummed me out. But yes, they make a mean sandwich.
Yeah.
They have good olives.
Yeah, good wall of
Free
pickles.
olives.
Yeah, that olive bar.
Yeah.
Where else? Yeah, geez, so many great places.
There's venues with really good food that we've played at. The Chapel in San Francisco is so good.
Sinclair.
Sinclair
Definitely.
is also very good food.
There's the barbecue spot across from Saturn in Birmingham that I really like too.
What was that called?
Yeah.
Shit.
I wish I could remember
can't
that.
remember.
There was a gas station too on a southern tour we did where that had like where we were randomly walking to a gas station that had like a fake roof inside of it.
Yeah.
Like amazing barbecue.
Yeah, that was insane. That was on the Jimmy World Tour. We just stopped for gas, and then we smelled it when we went in or something, and just like happened on the best barbecue ever.
Yeah.
Oh, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre gas station barbecue. We Slaughter Barbecue in Bastrop, Texas.
Was the food
Yeah, that was
good, or
great.
was it just because I didn't eat there?
The food
It
food was good. I broke a veg on a human sausage, and it was delicious.
I didn't care for mine as much. I didn't think it was. I liked the restaurant a lot, but the food was not my favorite part of that restaurant.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It was the Leatherface vibes and the cool gift shop,
Mhm.
and the staff wasn't rude enough. The barbecue tastes better the ruder the staff is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're too friendly.
They
Oh,
definitely
man.
in that gas station barbecue spot. I think they kind of mad dogged us out of there a little bit. That was the understanding I came to after the fact. They were like, "Okay, y'all got your food. Time to go."
Yeah, go enjoy it elsewhere.
And the Southern tours always have the best food. In Atlanta by the Masquerade Old Lady Gang, that place is insane.
Oh yeah, fucking A. Old Lady Gang's great.
Yeah.
Next time we're in Houston, guys, by the way, I really want to try Viet Cajun food. There's a hybrid. I was watching a cooking show, and I guess the Vietnamese population started cooking with crawdads and stuff, and using Cajun spices. And I gotta do that. I want to do that so bad.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, Houston. So we can't go to Fuddruckers next time we're in Houston. Sorry, Eric.
Aww.
I do like the reliability of a banh mi. Mark and I once got banh mi in like Calgary or something that was super, super good.
Yeah, that was Calgary.
And like, I like that as a dependable, like certain types of food, you can generally rely on them being pretty good universally. Obviously some kinds you cannot, like burritos are going to be regional. But like,
for sure.
I like the idea of sticking to certain dishes that you know are going to be pretty solid across the.
There's the halal snack pack. Is that what it is?
The HSP.
In Australia. Yeah, which they had the veggie version at a Lord of the Fries, which was really just like as far as one of those foods that it's pretty consistent. You know, you just like, and also what is the halloumi, like a halloumi sandwich when you're in Germany, like a kebab shop. Like I feel like that is one that's also just, haven't had any bad halloumi sandwiches. I'm sure they're out there, but really good luck with that one.
Yeah, discovering halloumi overseas was like kind of life ruining because now I'm just like always checking the grocery stores for it, and it's so much more expensive over here.
Oh, expensive.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Where is it at? I don't think I've ever actually.
Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, that sort of place.
Okay.
Trader Joe's is actually like a Trader Joe's is cheap enough to like warrant getting as a treat, but like anywhere else, it's way too expensive.
For sure.
Yeah, like $7 for like a tiny little bar.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Another really good food place was that ice cream shop by the Troubadour that we went to.
Salt and
Oh yeah.
Salt and Straw. Got that weird
Yeah, that's great.
like it was like the goat cheese olive brittle ice cream. Kiera Kalberg asks, how do you decide which bands you want to bring on tour? Has there ever been a regrettable lineup either on your own tour or another tour you were asked to be a part of?
That's cool. I want to know the answer to that. That's awesome.
I'll say no comment on the second one, the second question, because I mean, yeah, of course there are regrettable tours sometimes, but
Yeah.
someone gave me some really good advice very early on, and that was don't take bands on tour that you don't respect. And I think we've stuck to that pretty well for the most part. Usually if it's a band, you have to like find something to like about them, whether they're like friends and really fun to hang out with, or if you're a big fan of their sound or their songs. So I don't know. That's always what I have in mind when I try to when we're discussing what bands to take on tour. And then of course there's also the factors of like, what was it? There's like two out of three kind of things that we like decide on.
Yeah. It's
what was it?
It's really clinical when we put it this way, but it's like there's the ideal band to take on tour is good. We like them. That's an important thing. I would say that's the most important thing. And then ideally, depending on where they're at in a tour package, like it would be good if other people have heard of them, and then the last one is like thinking about representation for the entire package. So like, we're not gonna, the goal isn't to tokenize anybody, but if we have like a list of 4 bands together and we're like, oh, this is a really cool tour, oh, it's all white dudes, okay, we'll make some changes.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you don't want to have a lineup that's all white dudes, and then you also want the bands to be good, and you want people to want to come to see the bands.
Yeah.
And
ideally, the people on stage at our shows reflect the people in the crowd at our shows, and we're lucky that our crowds are not just 100% straight white dudes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would just add to that we have been really lucky and we've gone on tour with a lot of incredible bands. I think that being a good band alone definitely is not enough. And if you go on tour with a band that is a good band that you like, and that's why you chose them to go on the tour, and then they are shitty people, then you're not going to like their music and you're not going to like them at the end of the tour, So I feel like ideally it's a band that you're like super stoked about, but even a band that like maybe you're not initially choosing them because you like their music, oftentimes by the end of the tour, if they're really great people and they have good songs, then you're going to like come around to their music anyways. So I try not to get hung up too much on like taking a band that I really like on tour.
Yeah, because also an important thing about who you're taking on tour is whether they say yes or not.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. I think so many packages have been
it has to be consensual.
Yeah. Like so many tours have been determined by like, all right, well, at this point, they can't do it. This band can't do it. This band said they were going to do it, then they didn't do it. So we're going to tour with this band because they were available and willing and they fit some of the other criteria we have, and it's going to be fine. And it generally is, and we always have a good time.
Yeah. Also, I want to shout out that person, Kiera, that asked that question. Hi, Kiera. Kiera's a photographer and has covered the band before for different press things.
Cool.
New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned Kira and the post from Woodstock the other day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She came and shot some of the solo shows I played in Brooklyn.
Right on. Cool.
Cool. Next question. Josh is nervous asks, what are your favorite tour stories to tell? What is something that you have experienced on the road that just really resonates as a happy memory?
I got one, but it's not. I sort of share this with Mark. So Mark, with Mark's permission, one of my favorite tour memories is being in Belgium and watching the Deftones side stage and eating chocolate pudding, and then watching some guy fuck with Mark's feet and not understanding what was going on. And then
I didn't understand either.
But I didn't really know. I kind of because it's the Deftones. I was like, are we allowed to do this right now? Am I allowed to side stage watch the Deftones? I don't know. But anyway, we so I thought maybe this is some security thing. We're not supposed to be here. We're gonna get kicked out. Let's be cool. And then talking to Mark afterwards, Mark, do you want to, since you're here, you can share what you told me really happened, which is my favorite. It's kind of like it's your story, but because I was able to bear witness, I feel like I have to share it because it was just such a great thing that happened.
Yeah.
I would say,
what happened, Cinderella?
If I was in your position, watching it happen, it would be one of my favorite stories to tell. But yeah, we were standing side stage, and I was up on a box thing to get a better view, and a guy walked up and he picked my foot up and took my shoe off. I was wearing slip-ons, and he just took my shoe off and walked away, and I was just standing there without a shoe on for a minute, and then he walked away. He was and then just went away, and then he came back, and then he bent over and picked my foot up and put my shoe back on me. And then I asked him what happened, and then he said Chino lost his shoe, and then just left. So potentially, if my shoe had fit Chino, I would just not have a shoe.
For everybody who doesn't know, that's Chino Moreno, lead singer of the Deftones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great singer.
Yeah, so it's a pretty glamorous life.
That's my favorite tour story.
It's a good
that's
tour
so
story.
Good.
Just such a weird way. I try to imagine it from the perspective of that stagehand of Chino's shoe comes off and he's just immediately scanning the feet of everyone around, who can I take a shoe from? How can I fix this?
I want to point out that was kind of, to me, the night of just diligent stagehands, because earlier in that night when we had played, Sean was doing his LV crooning thing, and there was this Belgian stagehand that was just sitting side stage smoking a cigarette, looking like he just didn't have a care in the world. But the second that Sean got up and started to go into the crowd, he shot up out of his seat and he started reeling out XLR cable to make sure that it didn't get all tangled or anything. He was just on it, lead focus, go. And
it was amazing.
Oh my
great.
God, what a professional! Holy shit.
Do you think the stagehand that was in charge of Chino's shoe, do you think he went up to Chino while Chino was singing and picked up his foot and went to see if the shoe would fit?
It must.
And then when it didn't, he had to give it back.
I couldn't see what was happening, and I was also just shell shocked. But I imagine that's how it went down.
We should Google, what size shoe are you?
12.
We should Google what Chino Moreno's shoe size is.
Let me get on WikiFeet really quick. Hang on.
Go to celebritynetworth.com.
All right, I'm on
Chino's
WikiFeet.
his
Chino
size
Moreno.
good though, because he had a broken foot, and so his foot was a little bit swollen. So whatever size shoe he has, probably bump it up half a
Oh,
half
he had
size.
he had a broken foot that night.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's
Okay,
why,
guys,
that's why he was hobbling around the stage.
So he's not on WikiFeet, but then I found a sister website called WikiFeet for Men.
This
And
one's
he's
for
also not
boys.
on there. Damn.
But now you know that site exists. So
Let's see if he's on WikiFeet X. Also, what is? Oh, okay. That's also for women. So sorry, I don't know Gina Moreno's shoe size.
Do you think he just sent it back because it wasn't one of those like puffy etnies?
It wasn't an Adidas shell toe.
Yeah.
Whoa. Well done.
Anyone else have good stories about Chino stealing my shoe?
Can't top that.
Yeah.
Cool. Great.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
My favorites. So it's like my favorite stories to tell are generally like funny misfortunes, less so than like stuff that just resonated as a happy memory. Because it's like, playing shows is really fun. That's good, and it's just kind of like generally when we're on tour, like besides the when bad things happen, it's generally pretty great the whole time. So the bad things stick out as the stories also because they're generally like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
It's a
Well, two. Okay,
it's hard to.
I gotta do two honorable mentions really quick in the spirit of like bad stories that are great to tell. Preston tackling some dude that was trying to steal Sean's skateboard.
That was sick, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
That was good.
and then there's the time that we're in this huge venue with tons of security and a huge gap between the stage and the audience, and somehow this kid has made their way all the way back and then up the stairs, and then Mark picked this kid up over his head while he's still playing the cello and threw him into the audience. It was incredible.
It was like Bane. Both the band and the character.
Yeah, very positive.
Yeah, I like when my bandmates commit violence.
That's why you have us around.
Yeah, like that time in Bern, Switzerland, where we played this show, and then we stayed in the apartment above the enormous rave that happened on the premises, and Ben got violent and like threw a bottle at somebody.
Ben almost got killed that night.
No, somebody threw a bottle at me. It was.
Ben just
The
wanted to play with
story always changes, Ben. It always changes.
I know it does, doesn't it?
Didn't they have like a slingshot for the bottles to like rocket them into a wall?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But not for Ben.
absolutely.
no
And then I
Ben's
tried.
allowed.
I was just about to do it, and then somebody started. Somebody told me not to, and then
That's
started
not for
throwing
you.
Exactly. Yeah, they knew I wasn't from around there.
Yeah.
Did he throw a bottle at your feet?
Yeah, he did. I think. Lou Hanneman from Caves, I think, kind of, to a certain extent, helped rescue me from that situation. So thanks, Lou.
So yeah, these stories are great, but also at the time, probably not a great feeling.
Terrifying, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, taking down that skateboard stealer felt really good at the time.
Yeah, actually,
That was great.
that's fair.
Man, that dude was a pain in the ass all night.
Yeah.
He apologized. Didn't he come the following show? He came and apologized.
The next time we played Albuquerque,
Yeah, he did. I mean,
I wish he'd
what it's worth.
apologized to me because I didn't
Yeah.
see him. And I wish he had apologized to Preston for making Preston beat him up like that.
Yeah, making me run across the parking lot.
Oh, that was so badass. Thank you, Preston. Thank you for rescuing the skateboard.
Oh, I had to. Yeah.
There a time all of you can share or agree on, all together or individually, that was the scariest or most intense moment of a tour? Like thinking you would be robbed or harmed, or like a tornado or real intense storm was around or driving into it, or even a happy moment, like the crowd was so intense and fun and rowdy.
Yes. all of those.
Yeah, we have a lot of them.
Yeah.
We drove into New York during Hurricane Sandy, or we were on tour in the Northeast during Hurricane Sandy. Except for Owen. Owen wasn't there.
We were holed up in Atlanta when the hurricane was actually happening. Just to clarify.
Okay.
We went to Boston the following day, and then we drove into New York in the midst of there being no vehicles on the road, and gas was not available anywhere. Long lines and large swaths of Connecticut having no power, seeming like we were in the middle of the woods. And then you get closer, like it's dark outside. It felt like you were just in like the middle of the woods, and you realize that it's lots of subdivisions with no power,
Mm-hmm. I remember around that time we were driving on the Brooklyn Queens Expressway, and it was just barren, like no one was there, and we were driving into our show in Manhattan. It was canceled because of flooding at Le Poisson Pousse Rouge.
It also didn't have power, I believe.
Yeah, so we played at a Club Europa in Greenpoint instead, and that was a fucking wild experience. Like, just driving that stretch of road that like every time it's so full of traffic, but having it look like The Walking Dead at that point was so strange. Yeah. What are?
He specifically mentioned tornadoes. Back in January when we were driving to Nashville, we were all getting weather alerts on our phone that are like tornado warning, and we were just triangulating like on the map to be like, well, what the fuck do we do? Do we drive? Are we going away from it? Are we going towards it? Like like what do we do here?
I had already forgotten about that one.
Yeah. And then a few weeks later, a tornado destroyed the venue we played.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Basement East.
Great club.
Yeah,
very good club.
Mark wasn't there for the blizzard, but that was a pretty memorable experience for me, where it was like it went from being life-threatening, total fear, to being like, all right, everything's cool, this is gonna be fine. In a matter of just like short moments, it was kind of a fucked up transition.
I was terrified. Thank you, Preston, for saving us from that.
Yeah, as soon as Preston started driving and I was not driving anymore, it was awesome.
I've heard about that blizzard so many times. I was basically there.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah, crossing the Canadian Rockies in a blizzard, so much snow, smoking copious amounts of weed, listening to black metal. It was great.
You guys were skitching.
Yeah.
Skitching. Yeah. Got Owen to skitch on the ice.
So the signs that were like, there were signs that said like, do not drive on this road when snowy, but like a lot of those signs, there was so much snow that you couldn't read the sign. But I wanted to point out, so there actually was another blizzard that we were all in together, and we were holed up in Connecticut. We were supposed to play Long Island with Joyce Manor and Mannequin Pussy, and we ended up just hanging out for a day, watching all the Batman movies and
Megamind.
Yeah, and Megamind. That weird hotel.
That was a weird fucking hotel.
Berman Inn and Suites that had like all sorts of weird like memorabilia and stuff. Like each floor had a different theme.
Oh yeah.
It was bizarre.
I think we went to a Walmart the day before and just got tons of snacks and just prepped.
Mm-hmm.
That going back really quick, the Canada drive, the Canada blizzard.
Yeah.
Laura Stevenson talks about her experience in that blizzard on Benny Horowitz's podcast, Going Off Track. She talked about how she was like, in her van, it was like stress world. And then she like called us up and we were just like having a blast.
Well, there was a miscommunication. Like she was on the phone, and then somebody jokingly said like, "Yeah, we're just gonna smoke a blunt and go for it," but it was complete. It was just not. It was a joke.
It wasn't.
We were gonna stop.
We did that,
and then we did it. Yeah.
It became very real.
We very much went for it.
To it because there was no like, we couldn't call them back to correct it. So it was like, okay, what we've said we're gonna do, now we're committed to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't want them calling us liars or anything.
Nope.
But I remember when we saw them, it was like we drove through the night. Well, I should say Preston drove through the night, basically. And like we saw them at a gas station early in the morning, and they just looked like way vacant and bummed.
Yeah, yeah.
It was very clear.
Yeah, they had all lost like 15 pounds and had black circles in their eyes. We were like, that was fucking awesome. That's great.
Yeah, we're all as long as we're all together, that's great.
Yeah,
we're lucky that Preston's like mana is black metal and weed, and just like that's all he needed.
And like a lot of experience ice road trucking growing up, like with a snowplow in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Yeah, that did a lot. Oh, I mean now, at the time I was the only ice road trucker in the band, but now Sean, you've got some ice road trucking experience.
Yeah, I like driving in the snow. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, you just got to learn. It's if you've never done it, it's terrifying and scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a whole different beast.
Speaking of terrifying and scary, just going back to the January tour a couple months ago, like that was a long time ago now, but the last tour that we did, coming through, coming into Albuquerque, so we were in the hills, and it started snowing, and the ice was forming really quickly on the windshield of the van, and I had to reach out while it's like snowing a lot, and there's lots of big trucks that are terrifying, and just like two little tiny tracks in the snow where you can actually get traction on the road. And I'm like reaching out and grabbing the windshield wipers to slap them against the window to knock the ice off of them, so that the entire windshield doesn't get like mud ice over to the point where I can't see anymore. God, I hate driving in the snow.
That was a really cool move, though. That was a great move.
I think I might have learned that from Rick Johnson. I feel like somebody did that before, and that's what
total Rick Johnson move.
Yeah, he's a nice road trucker too.
Matthew Foster asks, "What was the last big mistake you learned from?" Not to get to current state of the world or anything, but the last big mistake I learned from was thinking that you could plan the future. Because it turns out nothing's real, and you could say you're gonna do a bunch of stuff, but just like at the drop of a hat, that can all change.
I think on a really general level, just learning to pause when agitated, which is a constant practice, but I'll make that mistake of becoming reactive and getting upset about something and just immediately wanting to satisfy that irritation by reacting in a particular way, or maybe not listening and getting all of the information from a situation, and just kind of like when I do stop and realize like, okay, this is an upsetting moment, I need to sit with being upset for a minute and kind of get my bearings, and then decide what kind of action I'm going to take. Like I was speaking with a friend and like not recently, and like maybe not listening as closely or timing things as well as I could have. It was just a most recent reminder of a thing that's like a constant practice. It's, remembering how to pause when agitated. So I think it's yields better results.
For sure.
My most recent mistake that I learned from was to turn the normalization off when you're bouncing files to reach them.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as deep.
But I'm curious about it now. I'm gonna go check out normalizing bouncing files.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Yeah. You don't need it for overload protection. You don't need it for anything. Nothing is normal anymore.
There you go. There's that 2020.
Yeah.
Claire asks, how do you get cool with performing vulnerable lyrics even when you know people you know will hear them?
You have to trick yourself into thinking that those people won't realize what you're singing about. Yeah, you have to get yourself to believe.
Espen asks, you didn't live in the US. What other country would you want to live
Anywhere else.
in?
Maybe Scandinavia.
New Zealand.
I've never been to New Zealand. I like Australia. I bet I would like New
Wait.
Zealand. Sorry, go for it, Preston.
New Zealand's like the soft, fuzzy version
Cool.
of Australia.
Denmark. I really like Denmark.
Denmark.
I like Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden. You mentioned that too, Sean. I think Sweden's pretty great.
Mostly because of Max.
Oh yeah, speaking back to the food, that place rocks.
Yeah, it's a fast food restaurant that just has a vegetarian option for literally everything on the menu, and you order it with a touch screen, so you don't have to be a stupid American. It's great.
Yeah, and there's seltzer water on tap for free.
Yeah, so that's why I'm moving to Sweden. Elena Schoen asks, what is one of your favorite childhood memories?
Listening to the radio in the car with my mom and singing along to Aerosmith.
What Aerosmith is it? What comes to mind when you're thinking of Aerosmith song?
Get a Grip era Aerosmith.
Hell yeah.
Living on the edge.
Yeah.
Sure. I have one. So at our house when I was growing up, we had a pond that was I don't know. It's like very like kind of like a rural like cement pond kind of thing, which we'd actually like swim in and stuff. So occasionally we'd pump out all the water, clean it out with rakes and stuff. We'd scrape up all the algae and stuff that would build up on it, take that out, and then we'd fill it up with fresh well water, and then we'd have just like this beautiful, pristine pond that we'd swim in. And it was nice and cold and crystal clear, and we'd find like salamanders in it and stuff. So yeah, it was really awesome. I miss that.
Every summer for a week, we'd go stay at my grandparents' house in LA. We'd always go to like a different amusement park that of the year. It was like the big vacation. That was always fun. Disneyland,
Nice.
Universal, what have you.
I've got a lot of memories sticking out of just like listening to music and playing guitar on a like on a broom, like listening to finally found the love of a lifetime by Firehouse, which is like a garbage song that no one needs to listen to. But man, like when I was like 6 or 7 and heard that, like just blew my mind. Just like rocking out with cleaning products with my brother. Band. Great.
Was your brother playing drums?
I don't know. We were probably that this might have been before drums. So it's probably just all guitars. Yeah.
I guess by drums I mean like
yeah.
pans, like doing that.
Yeah. I think it might have been that might have been before he found the drums. But
Cool.
Listening to bad music and just rocking out times.
You told me a really cool story about you and your brother, Preston, that you guys had 2 copies of The Sign by Ace of Base. And you would play them on 2 different tape players and press play at the same time, and then just like listen to them slowly go out of sync.
Yes.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
Everything makes
really
so
good,
much
yeah.
sense now.
Yeah. Eat it, Steve Reich.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God, Steve Reich, 2 Ace of Base tapes.
Yeah. You don't know FaZe until you've heard all that she wants is another baby on FaZe.
Techery? This person, whose name that I butchered, asks, how did you guys all meet? Who knew who first, and how/where were you introduced to each other?
I need a diagram.
Yeah,
for
this
one.
is gonna be fun.
Ben and I worked at a coffee shop called the Willow House, and there was a really tall, quiet boy with long hair who used to come in and order the Mexicana blend, and that was Preston, who at the time was going by Jacob. There's a really cool band that played the Modified, and they were the talk of the town after they opened up for The Good Life, and that band was called Asleep in the Sea, and their keyboard player's name was Owen. And then Mark, we met. I actually, my first memory of meeting you, Mark, was at the fest with our friend Erica Harper. And I was like, oh, this guy lives in Phoenix? Cool. This guy's really cool. I'm looking forward to meeting this guy in Phoenix. The next time we hung out at Fairtrade Cafe and we listened to System of a Down in my car.
Yeah.
System of a Down.
Yeah.
Which one?
Which one?
Might have been self-titled.
Yeah, the one with the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to that one recently. Fucking riffs.
That's how I remember meeting everyone. Meeting Ben. I met Ben before I started working at the Willow House, but then I thought he was just the coolest guy ever. I was right.
You used to do open mics at the Willow House for a while before you started working there, right?
Yeah.
Cool. That was easy.
Does anybody have any like Kurosawa sort of different approach retelling of that story?
Oh yeah, let's do a Rashomon.
Yeah, Rashomon. That's what I was trying to think.
Remember, great movie.
I think my first memory of Preston was at Ye Old Bike Saviors, just hanging out in the backyard, maybe at a show. I mean, my chronology might be off though, but that was like the time where really it's like, who is this guy? We talked for a while. I believe you talking about Pantera, and I was just kind of surprised to be having a conversation about Pantera in the back of Yobs. Kind of a cool, So that was that. What do you?
I remember being recording banjo, and Preston and I were like really good friends from community college. You know how you do in community college.
Math class at Scottsdale Community College.
That's
Artichokes,
right.
Baby. Artichokes,
College
baby.
math. Go Chokes.
Go Chokes.
And we and I just remember being like, I was gonna go record, and we were hanging out anyway. And so, I knew that you were a music person and you had instruments and stuff, and it was like, I can't remember if I talked to you guys first about it or not, or if I was just like, I'm gonna bring my friend, anyway, I remember a specific day when you guys were maybe you were living together, or maybe one of you was living with Randy or something, or with you guys were living in McDowell, I think. It was
on Granada and 14th Street. We called the house Xanadu, and you talking about when we recorded? Yeah. John Martin, Sean, and myself lived there.
There we go. Yeah, but I just remember showing up, and Nick was recording too. And then it was Preston and I that showed up, and I think it was the first time he might have played music with you guys. But maybe not. And I just had, maybe I didn't know.
They was, and I didn't even play it with them then. I waited until they left, and then I recorded a harmonica track.
You sure did.
Yeah. I think I had to go work a shift, or maybe we both did at that coffee shop. And then when we came back, there was a harmonica track on the song. It was like, oh, Jacob did that. Okay, cool.
we had a bit of an open, just kind of an open house kind of situation at Xanadu. Didn't always work out for the best, but yeah, that was a good day. That was fun recording that record, which is that stuff, that material ended up on a three-way split we did with a band from Tucson called Golden Boots and another band from Las Vegas called Blast Bar, and it was put out by Night Pass Records many years ago.
That's a great split.
I'm not a. I think that
I like the Golden Boots and AJJ.
There we go. Well, I was gonna say our recording. I feel like the mix could have been maybe spend a little bit more time in the mix, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't listened to it in a while, so I should revisit it.
I'm never gonna revisit it.
The harmonica playing was fucking sweet, though. That's what I know for sure.
Did one of those Flash Bar guys end up being in Anamanaguchi? Am I remembering that right?
I don't know.
I'm looking at you, Owen. You know this dude.
Shoot, I don't know. I know Luke from Anamanaguchi, but I knew Luke from my old band, Asleep in the Sea, played with I don't know why I'm saying it like that, because you all know. Anyway, but we played with in LA at a place called The Cocaine, which was a venue that was like located in a Chinese restaurant after hours. It like shut down, and then it became we thought we were in the wrong place. There was like the first 3 times we went to LA, my old band, like
Asleep in the Sea.
Yeah.
Wait, who? That was your old band?
This band called we I just remember it was a weird pattern of showing up and being like, is this the right place? Like having to ask that question each time. Like the smell, we showed up to the smell and we were like, there's just no, like everything's shuttered and we're just at the correct address. Like, okay, maybe there will, and eventually somebody comes along and is like, okay, it's fine. But anyway, similar thing. And we played with Luke's old band that was like in this after hours Chinese restaurant.
Okay.
And I don't know if he was in Flash Bar or not.
I think I'm just remembering it wrong.
All the Golden Boot stuff on that.
Weird and hard to play.
What's up?
LA used to be really weird and hard to play.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude.
I really like.
It's even harder to play now.
Yeah.
Through that.
What's another question?
Toxic Mustache asks, have you ever wanted to have your music featured in a movie or write a soundtrack specifically for a film?
Fuck yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Preston.
Do they know someone?
Preston's a huge soundtrack fan. Listen to a lot of soundtracks. Oh, and you did one, right?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't want to talk about it, that's
was
totally
like
cool too.
I'm a little like I just don't know I don't know how I feel about the film itself as far as like I'm really grateful for the opportunity.
What opportunity?
To do a soundtrack or a score?
For what?
For a film?
What's it called? I mean, Asleep in the Sea.
It's got yeah, it was just for this horror film. I don't know how much promotion or where the person landed on it and stuff. So I don't want to like. Yeah, I don't know, but it was a fun experience to be able to do that. Well, the film's called It Cuts Deep. Yeah, slasher movie. And yeah, super grateful for the opportunity, and I would definitely do it again. It's like that process was a lot less insane than I thought it was going to be. It was a lot easier. It was a lot of work, but it was like that seems like kind of an overwhelming thing in the moment, and then once you're actually doing it, it's a little bit easier than than I would have thought. But also at the same time, I have a newfound enormous respect for people who are able to do that for big budget films and stuff, and or small budget films. But it's I think you're probably only going to be as good as the direction that you're getting to on some of that. So that's helpful info.
I think hearing because since Jeff Rosenstock does the Craig of the Creek stuff, like he was working on some stuff when he was like staying at my house for a day to begin a tour or whatever. So like getting just a glimpse of like how that process works for, like, I know it's a 15-minute cartoon versus a feature-length film, different stuff, but just like the idea of even like working on a deadline and having like somebody else's image and being like, fit this, sounds like a really fun challenge.
Well, I do. I have done a few commercials that I've actually gotten, and that's been pretty fun. So I gotta say that's more fun because it's really short, and so like the light at the end of the tunnel is just like right there, and it's more about like take a bunch of stabs at this thing, and then whichever one is closest. But what's great about that is you get to hear like executive speak for like details of music, like no, it needs to like really pop more, it needs to pop, or it needs to be like
a little sparkle here.
Yeah, a little sparkle, or that's too artsy, or that just like these wonderful descriptors to try and talk about music.
Which really all they're trying to say is that they want more ukulele, right? And that's all the
right.
commercial really needs.
Or that they want it louder, probably, right?
Yeah, more.
It's like when you say they want it to pop or sparkle, it's like, no, turn it louder.
It's really funny what some people
whatever show they're watching.
Yeah.
It's funny when you hear it. Like, I was prepped by my because I was like, the commercials I did were contracted through this other person, so he was hiring me as a contractor to write these pieces, and like he prepped me really well. Where he's like, you're gonna like whatever you think is happy music, but it's also because he was customizing his information for me, where he was like, whatever you think is a happy song, like multiply it by 10. It should be much, much, much happier than that. And so then I would, Mark, like you were saying about limitations, like here's this, do this with this.
Yeah.
Like, then I had to limit myself to like, okay, I'm going to use 1, 4, and 5. These are the only chords, or like maybe a major 2. And then I can only use those. I'm not going to use one minor chord at all. And then I'm going to make
you want happy, right?
Yeah. No minors. And then it just like continued to take stab after stab after stab until there was like a melody or something. But that's a really fun challenge as opposed to trying to bite off an entire score, which is like, just takes a really, really long time. And I think that's a little different too, because feel free to edit out all of this. I feel like I'm going on and on. But
I know.
If any of it's usable. Okay, cool.
Welcome to the masterclass.
Yeah. Well, I just think that they're like, the difference between them that's kind of interesting is like with a score is like I was being asked to do something as a person who's like heard stuff that I've done. So they were like, you just do what you want to do and that's fine. We'll kind of like collaborate on editing it later. And as the commercial stuff is like 2 strangers, I don't know you, you don't know me. You're just like receiving songs and then you tell me like what to fix on it. So they're like pretty different approaches. I don't know.
You should have done the horror film in 1, 4, and 5.
Dude, yeah.
That would have been a real challenge.
Cool. Holy Branches asks, how do you feel about trans people relating to your body horror lyric? Was that something you ever thought about while writing it? I personally hold Body Terror Song as a very trans song, but obviously I understand how many times the person listening can hold different meanings.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel really good about it because that means that the song is connecting with people. I I've said before that song is kind of like an attempt at reaching a point of empathy with people who do not share a similar body as my own. And I had a lot of different people's bodies in mind when I was thinking of that song, and a lot of it relating to kind of gun violence, and yeah, I don't know. It's if the main question is how do I feel about trans people relating to the body terror song, I would say very good. And yeah.
Eddie Sire asks, "What's the funniest thing someone has said to you before a set?"
You expect me to pay €10 for this T-shirt? But it is not my favorite color. Immediately, like as I was like on stage, like getting ready.
Oh, I didn't realize that was not at the merch table.
Less than a minute from that moment, we were playing our first song.
Wow.
Yeah. That and Andy Falcus from Future of the Left saying, "Don't fuck it up."
Drawboy Shawnee says, "Hey Sean," and I assume Ben and Owen might have some answers to this one too. Has having a baby had an effect on your songwriting in any way? Maybe in terms of your outlook on life or introspectively?
Yeah. My worldview completely shifted after having a child. One, you know, I feel like I have a much greater investment in the world than I did before, because I want the world to be better for the child. And so yeah, I think it's kind of like, not that I was ever like fully embracing any kind of nihilism, but it definitely has like shifted me even further away from that direction. Yeah. How about you dudes? How about you other dads?
Yeah, I would. One thing I would say for sure is that like just the opportunity to play music. You know, when you have a kid, there's a lot more responsibility and changes your perspective in a lot of ways. But just to, you know, before that, you kind of play music whenever you want to, and I just am so much more grateful for opportunities to play music. And the fact that I get to play music is really incredible. And so those times where I get a break and I can spend some time on music, it's just a lot more rewarding. And also, yeah, my daughter's getting a little bit older now, so we actually play music together, which is amazing. She mainly plays like percussion and stuff, but like we do. There's a song by Sweet called Little Willy Willy, which is like a fun like poppy glam song, and we play that one together. I'll play guitar and then she plays cowbell. And then also, yeah, she gives me feedback and stuff too. And playing music, I like to play music for her, and she's she has really interesting feedback. What do you think, Owen?
Yeah. Has it changed my perspective a lot? Yeah, I think I would second both of those main points. One of like taking a step further away from nihilism, and I also think having a kid amplifies if you have any problems going on in your life personally, it's like the volume just gets cranked on all of them. For me, anyway, that was what happened. It was like any kind of personal issues I had to deal with became very apparent right away. So I had to work on stuff, and so yeah, having a kid that's a little older and even being able to interact with them, I definitely find myself kind of surprised at how profound some of the things when I stop and I actually pay attention to what my kid's saying. There's a lot of like, oh, I need to be paying really close attention to what they're saying, because there's a lot of profound stuff going on. Just because somebody's smaller and younger doesn't mean they're any less capable of like teaching you a lot of things. And then as far as the midwife that delivered my son said something really that's always kind of resonated with me, which was like, right after he was born, I was like, okay, now what? And she was like, now you walk around with your heart outside of your body. I was like, oh shit. And yeah, she couldn't be more right. So it's kind of like a beautiful thing, but it is also terrifying, because you're just kind of like watching the most important thing in your life like walk around and like pull shit around, or like potentially hurt themselves, and it can be really stressful, but also, yeah, wonderful and unique.
Ainto Macmillan says, or asks, "Hey AJJ, love you guys and your songs. Recently, a friend of mine passed away, and I was wondering, have you all ever lost someone? Do you write any songs about them? Thank you for reading my question, and please have the best day that you can."
Aw, sweet. Yeah, I've definitely written songs about and for people I've lost. For sure. Most recently, the song "Your Voice as I Remember It" is kind of a composite about a number of people recently dead.
Housley asks, recently saw your cover of the Silver Juice song "Candy Jail" on Songs That Saved My Life. I was wondering if you could expand on how David Berman influenced and affected each of you, and if you're going to cover them in the future or on Live from Quarantine or otherwise.
Let's see. There's about like four Silver Juice songs currently in rotation on the Live from Quarantine song list. Candy Jail, Smith and Jones Forever,
Strange Victory,
Punks in the Beer Light, and Strange Victory, Strange Defeat. And I'd say mostly what connects me to David Berman, or the thing that I like about his art, is just how like wonderfully clever the lyrics are. And then secondly, I really enjoy the production of the songs. It's all very like kind of old fashioned, just kind of like 1960s. It like the songs and the arrangements really chuggle. And yeah, there's definitely more. I'll learn and refresh some other Silver Juice songs for sure. There's like a whole set. I think I played like 13 Silver Juice songs once at a show at the Crescent Ballroom. They had a series called Cover the Crescent, and I played one of those, and it was all Silver Juice songs.
Yeah, that was the one that Jim Adkins did a J Church set at too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know we rehearsed. I don't know if I played with you on that show or not, but I was definitely there. There's also, I was in I played drums in Porches. We did Punks in the Beer Light for a set when I'd forgotten all about it, but I was going through my voice memos recently, and there was a rehearsal. Not the Porches from New York, a Phoenix band called Porches. Our good friend Ben Horowitz was in, and yeah, Silver Juice are great. Purple Mountains also great.
Yeah. I was gonna drive out to LA to see that Purple Mountain show. I was like kicking off their tour, and that was a bummer last year. Yeah, David Berman, especially that Purple Mountains record, like, it was really affecting when he committed suicide, because it was like, it had seemed like he had made it through that, sort of, because it was like, I'm back, I got a new record, I'm going on tour, things are all lining up now, and then yeah, I don't know. The real bummer.
Definitely, it's certainly a thing to constantly manage. Like, I think that's what you're pointing out. It's clear that like no matter how out of the weeds it seems like some people are, it's really important to know that you gotta continually be putting in some kind of effort to make sure you're
Oh, absolutely.
managing.
Do you know why the side effects of some antidepressants are suicide? Well, some antidepressants work well enough that they give the person enough of an energy boost and a boost in their efficacy that they will eventually like follow through with their plan. It gives them enough wherewithal to like get off the couch and commit suicide. And that's like that's sort of what the Purple Mountains record kind of seemed like. It was like there was enough of a boost to like to I don't know. I don't know if that's if I put that into words quite as well as what was in my head. But it was very tragic.
Heckhead asks, what do you guys think of covers of your music? Do you guys like hearing covers of songs you've written, or does it feel weird?
Both. Yeah, yes. My favorite ways that people cover the songs are in arrangements that are like different from kind of the way they sound on recording, or like different from our versions. Like I like hearing electronic covers of our songs. I think those are like the funnest.
I think like 4 years ago or something, somebody sent a death metal version of Bad Bad Things.
Whoa.
That was fun.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah. When people translate the songs to different genres, it doesn't have to be electronic or anything, but like to other genres besides like folk punk. That's always cool.
Yeah, I mean personally, like my favorite covers are ones that like kind of warrant the existence of it as a cover, like because if you're gonna record a cover that's just identical to the song that you're covering, are you I don't know.
I think that there's, I generally I don't like when people like switch up the melody and make it a completely different thing. I mean, every single cover is a different thing. But there's like the idea of like more of like a tribute and then a cover. And like I get a tribute as far as like a live performance. You get to play these songs that you love so much in front of a crowd, and especially for bands that don't exist anymore, I think tributes make a lot of sense. But generally, I like recontextualizing, the spirit of a song, and the spirit being the lyrics and the melody.
It's really great to see you guys, by the way, in one spot. I had a lot of fun just hanging out, regardless of people asking questions or not. It's great to shoot the shit all together.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah,
Really.
real fun. Cool. Well, we'll have another Q&A up in a month for September, which is
Sweet.
very soon. And if you want to submit a question for the videos, you can join our Patreon at patreon.biz/us. Bye.
All right. Love you guys. See you later.